I do wonder, does that work that well?
Sometimes it helps. It helps me find a starting point, and then from there, I do have to kind of double check. It really depends on how good our timing is and how bad the lag is.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like the lag, like in the Sims game that is my life, is pretty intense recently.
Ooh, go on.
I don't know. That's all I had to say on that matter.
Okay. It sounded like an exciting premise for like a horror movie or something.
Well, I mean, there are like a lot of theories that we are living in a simulation. Because like, okay, this is a science thing, and I'm gonna sound real dumb because I read it on Tumblr, and like I don't know the real science between it. But they like.
Well, first we should clarify we're not a science podcast. But
this is not not a science podcast. But there was something where they were like, scientists were like, okay, so theoretically, like, the known universe should have no known limits, right? Like, there shouldn't be a limit to the universe, right? Because that doesn't make sense necessarily. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So they were like, well, what we'll do is we'll, like, send this... I think it was a sound. They were like, we'll send this sound, and if we ever hit a stopping point, we'll like, that might be evidence that we're in a simulation, because while the universe is infinite... a simulation could not be, right? Like, it's impossible. Right. And so they, like, sent the sound out into the universe, and it, like, hit a certain level and couldn't go any higher. And they were like, all right, I guess we're in a game of The Sims. And that's your daily science forecast.
Wow. So, you know, this might just become full-on existential crisis at this point, this podcast, because now I do anything, you know? Like, why?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying, it's a real wild world out there.
Yeah. What a buzzkill.
What a buzzkill. Sorry. Yeah.
I'm going through all this shit and it's not even real? That would be the worst news, honestly. If at the end of all this,
yeah,
instead of like pearly gates or something, it's just like a blue screen lobby of a video game. Well, wait, hold on. Why we're starting over? What was this? What do you mean? What is this?
In your theoretical situation, are you the player?
Ooh.
Are you the person that is playing, or are you like a character? I'm just curious.
I feel like I'm the avatar of the player.
So like you didn't actually ever exist at all.
No, but maybe someone put some input into my actions and yeah, controlled me.
That's a little spooky. I mean, I feel like if I woke up at the end of this and was like, wow, none of that was real, I would be like kind of relieved. I think maybe that just like says a lot to like the headspace that I'm sure a lot of people are in, is like this, like the US is a failed experiment, like badly failed. So like if we all woke up and it wasn't real, I would be like, thank God.
Will we just start back at 1776 and try and get this government right, or what? Like,
I think we'd have to go.
That's a simulation.
I think we'd have to go back further. Honestly, I would like go back to the first caveman that like decided that like commerce was a good idea and like whack him over the head with a rock.
Yeah. That's probably where all this should stop.
Yeah.
Think of all the things you prevent if you just stop that.
Like commerce as an idea, yeah. Not even capitalism. I'm saying like commerce.
Yeah.
All of it. I don't want any of it. I just want to eat a potato out of the ground and lay in the grass. That's my dream.
All right. Well, I mean, that dream is attainable.
Yeah, is it though? Because
I mean, not the context of it, maybe. But if you just want to pull a potato out of the ground and eat it, we can arrange that.
Yeah, but when I'm done with the potato, I will know that capitalism is still waiting for me. And I'll know that there's still bad things happening because we set up a broken system. Okay, anyways, we can move on. How are you doing?
I mean, more of the same, I guess. Yeah, it's been a week. It's been I feel like on top of being like a little more busy this week at work, it's also like the most distracting week ever. So I'm fine. I think on any other day I might have been like, let's maybe not record today because it's just a lot. But like, this is my self-care right now. I'm excited about doing this. So that's where I'm at. Here's another thing that also made me real mad right before I logged on.
Do it.
There is like a campaign now to remake the last season of Game of Thrones. And this is all a direct result of the Snyder Cut and being a thing. Like,
no.
I knew this would happen, and I'm very... Now we just have set the standard that the internet can just demand a bad thing get remade.
Oh, no.
That is where we're at now. And it's happened with... now there's a petition for like a director's cut of Suicide Squad, the first one. Which, why? We're already getting another one. Like, why do you want to remake the bad one? We're getting a much better looking one. Okay. But now it's extending to Game of Thrones, and I guess whatever, anything on HBO at this point is fair game. Like,
oh, God.
What is this going to do? What is it going to accomplish other than having slightly less shitty versions of old movies that still look like they were stitched together because it is too far past production to, like, make it look like an actual movie. Or season of a TV show. How are they going to fix Game of Thrones? What are they going to edit that mess together with? How?
I have no idea. I think they should just... I agree with you. I think you should just let an ugly dog lie. Not an old dog, an ugly dog. Just let him lie. It's
still a dog. It's still got a lot of pros in that pro-cons list.
Did you watch Game of Thrones?
Nah. I watched, like, the first 3 seasons, and then I, like, stopped having HBO for a moment, and I got it again, but I never decided to go back to it.
Okay. And
I don't regret my choice.
Yeah, we watched about the same amount of Game of Thrones and then gave up. I feel like we gave up right when we needed to.
Right.
Definitely mood. Well, that's dumb, and I agree with you. I don't know that it makes me viscerally angry, but I am. That is ridiculous.
Okay. Well, if it doesn't make you angry, let me propose this thought. What if you could pick one thing to get like that treatment and get fixed or corrected or remade?
Ooh.
One property and.
Interesting question.
Yeah.
Okay, the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah.
One of the worst fantasy movies of all time. A movie called Aragon, based on a book called Aragon. Movie was bad. Books were great. Movie was bad. Maybe one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Nice.
So I think that would need to be remade. In terms of stuff that's ended, I mean, maybe like the new Star Wars reboot.
Oh, you know what? That's a great one.
I think I would want all of the movies except for the first one to get rewritten.
Hey, so keep Force Awakens.
Yes.
Redo Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
I'm okay with most of The Last Jedi. I think there's obviously some stuff you could cut out of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm okay with the way the plot turns, and I would like to see Rise of Skywalker continue that and not abandon it entirely.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that we're not a movie podcast.
We're not a movie podcast.
We're not. But I will say, yeah, I think that Rise of Skywalker set up some interesting things. Last Jedi set up some interesting things, and then Rise of Skywalker was just like, I don't care about any of that movie. I'm just moving on with my original idea. It's like an improv. Like you go on, you establish something, and somebody's immediately like, "And you're my mother, and we're at a funeral," and you're like, "No, that hurt."
Nowhere not. You're right. Yeah. Wow. I've never really thought about it, but the experience of watching that movie was a lot like watching kind of bad improv.
Yeah.
It's like you have not followed what was said before. The established reality has been effectively destroyed. There was a character who was real important a couple movies back, and now he's nothing in this. What's going on?
I'm sorry, are you talking about Finn? Are we talking about Finn here?
Yeah, I'm talking about Finn.
Just thought we'd be blatant about it. Yeah. Why the fuck why wasn't he a Jedi? Why wasn't he a Jedi?
He was like the first face we saw in the trailer for this new trilogy, and by the end of it, he was Jar Jar Binks pretty hard.
Do you think he got Jar Jar Binks? Do you think it's because he was a little like, do you think Disney was punishing him? Because he did really keep a lid on it. Like, once the movies ended, he was like, yeah, fuck you, Disney. Which, God bless him, loved every moment of it. Mm-hmm. But, like, even before that, he was, like, pretty straightforward with fans. Like, when he would be like, stop fucking bothering me. And so I wonder if Disney, like, was like, no, John Boyega.
I think that would be giving Disney too much credit, I think.
Okay.
I think if they had a good plan for that character, we would have seen it. I think the thing that seems really clear now is that they did not have a plan for this trilogy. Like, we all assumed they did, because that's what you would think would be the case, and we're not a movie podcast. But,
we're not a movie podcast. We have to mention that. We're not a movie
podcast. But we have to say it every 2 minutes we talk about movie, otherwise people get real confused. But... yeah, like, they just didn't really think it through, and it really sucked that they took this character who, to me, was very exciting to see in this universe. Mm-hmm. The first time I've ever seen myself kind of represented in the Star Wars universe. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they just... He was basically going to be another Jedi, and then...
he was Force sensitive. They straight up made it a fact.
And by the third movie... sensitive. They didn't even let him, like, finish his sentences. Like, nope. I don't know. It's just, it might not have been, I don't know what the fuck it was. I can't defend it. Like, it's not a good move. I really want to say, like, it might not have been their intention. But how do you do that? I
don't know. I will say, before we stop talking about movies, because we're not a movie podcast, the one scene they can keep is that really cool scene where Kylo Ren and Rey are fighting on that ocean planet. That they can keep. That was sick as fuck.
Yeah.
Everything else needs to change.
Everything else can go. You and I can...
We'll rewrite it.
We'll rewrite this one ourselves, and we'll start our own campaign.
Sounds good. Should we start the podcast?
Might as well.
Caught my eye in the grocery line, and I fancied myself a man worth your time, and I couldn't help thinking I wish you were mine, a man-seeking woman whose total is 589. I don't do this often. I'm not like the guys, which is why I find myself in a sort of existential crisis.
Podcast for listener fuck this week. It's time for another Existential Crisis, the show where we take the misconnection section into new directions. Ran out of breath there. I'm Talon Bigelow.
I'm Sarah Thompson.
Woof. Hey, let's get right to it. If you don't know what this is, on this podcast, we take misconnections, which are a section of the Craigslist website. Oh my
You're doing so good.
I don't do this part. Okay, I'm gonna get it though. Here we go. If you don't know, a misconnection's basically a digital message on a message board, normally expressing interest in a stranger who this person does not know how to otherwise get in contact with after they have crossed paths. That is what it should be. Sometimes it's not that. Welcome to the show. The other thing we like to do is provide these misconnections to each other and read them cold. I have not seen the misconnections that Sarah has provided me, and she, I. Is that?
She, I, proper? They, he. Yes.
Ooh, ah, 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 ah. Sarah, I'm going to start one of yours for our listening audience.
Please do.
Okay, so this is a misconnection for you. Here you go. I'm looking for Gregory Wyon. I knew your father well from early 2011 forward. And despite sharing what I could in passing, should have gotten your phone number for dinner sometime. I'm straighter than your father was, but friendlier than Ronald McDonald on vegan fare and MDMA. Right? It'd be great to host you sometime. My treat, the Gilbert. Okay. This is so. I mean, it was so proper, and then it takes some interesting turns, you know.
Like, just so great. Number one, hate the trope of your father's friend hitting on you. Hate it.
Yeah.
Not into that trope. And I also love the subtle dig at the father, which seems like the father might be dead. He's referred to as was. But I love what he says, I'm straighter than your father was.
Yeah.
Rude. I mean, I guess not rude. It's okay to everybody. It's okay to be gay. But to have it thrown in your face like that's a little rude. It's not a straight off, everybody. It's not a straight off. Life is not a straight off.
If he's dead, you're just adding insult to injury. You know, it's an injury
where was that
if you're
going?
dead.
Are you okay?
I don't know.
I think it's a
Am
mess
I
of
okay?
a corpse if it's dead.
Great. Oh, wow. What a start. But
What a start.
friendlier than Ronald McDonald on vegan fare and MDMA. I can understand the MDMA part of that. Would Ronald McDonald be friendly if he was eating vegan food?
I don't think so. I think he'd be kind of cranky, honestly. Like I think certain people like they get off like meat protein and get cranky.
That's what I would think too. So is this a threat? I don't understand. I mean, if you're trying to be clever, be correct. I just don't think Ronald McDonald's. I don't want Ronald McDonald on vegan fare and MDMA. That seems really like almost a bad combo then.
Is this a threat?
I don't know.
It's still not over that.
I'm going to mess you up harder than Ronald McDonald on an all meat-free diet.
Because he needs meat. That's what it is. Ronald McDonald craves meat, and so if he can't get it from animals...
That's the Hamburglar's whole job, is securing burgers for Ronald McDonald. It's actually a great scheme when you think about it, because Ronald's convincing us all like, oh no, McDonald's is getting robbed. But he's paying off the guy robbing McDonald's who's bringing him the hamburgers because he's trying to be, you know, vegan for the cameras or whatever. It's great scam.
What's the job of... Grumbo is the name of the game.
Grimace. Grimace is what you're looking for. I like Grumbo though. Grumbo sounds like Grimace's like son that he doesn't talk about.
I mean, is Grimace the numbers guy? Like, where's his job in this Ocean's 11 style heist?
Yeah, okay. So if it all goes up to the top and all mascots are all working for Ronald in some capacity, is it a team? Are they working individually? To be determined. I feel like Grimace is the muscle. Like Grimace is like he'll get his hands dirty for Ronald.
Oh, okay, got it. He's the cleaner upper. He's the fixer. Yeah.
You ever see the king wearing a little extra mask over his actual face? That's because Grimace fucked him up the other day.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Grumbo still feels right, but I know it's Grimace.
I think there's room for a Grumbo, but
I don't know where that's from. It just feels right. I don't.
Well, I mean, if Grumbo did exist, what do you think that would be? Could we make Grumbo a character in this universe?
I feel like he'd be Grimace's dark half. Like he'd look exactly like Grimace.
Yeah.
But he would be a little more nefarious if that's possible.
It would almost be like a Bucky Winter Soldier thing, you know? Like, Grimace is maybe who he is on a good day, but Grumbo, you better hope you don't see Grumbo.
You better hope you don't see Grumbo. Famous last words.
Famous last words. What are the rest of there's Mayor McCheese, and obviously political influence is great. Like, Ronald being able to pay off the mayor, like, make things happen for him, and...
Yeah.
Isn't
there some
McDonaldville?
Isn't there like a bird, like a yellow bird girl?
Yeah. Fuck. Some people are shouting it all over the country right now.
There's a yellow bird girl.
It's just Birdie. Her name is just Birdie. Birdie the early bird.
Oh, she's breakfast flavored breakfast. She's breakfast inclined. I don't know what she tastes like. I'm sorry.
Who knows? She is most likely a canary, says the McDonald's wiki. No one knows for sure what kind of bird Birdie is, so we just call her Birdie.
She looks related to Big Bird. I would say that she's whatever kind of bird Big Bird is. If I'm being honest, she kind of looks like a Big Bird knockoff.
Okay. I think there's some sort of relation here. Who knows? If Birdie has also got her hands dirty somehow, maybe Big Bird just doesn't want to be associated. So
Dirty
not
Birdie.
Be surprised. Dirty Birdie, they call her. What is her job, do we think? Transportation? I mean, looks like she flies.
I was gonna be sexist and be like, oh, she's like the sexy distraction.
Right.
But
yeah.
I do like
She's
that you
the
looked at
face.
her stumpy little wings and said, no, she probably does transportation. She's got
Honestly,
wings.
it's not even the wings. It's the goggles on her head mostly, right? And the scarf. She's got like an Amelia Earhart thing going on.
Sexy.
I don't know.
Got it. Yeah.
Sexy Amelia. So McDonaldland. I was trying to figure out what is the name of the place Mayor McCheese is the mayor of. That was where I was.
Is it the farm? Old McDonald's farm? Those aren't related.
No. Nope, they aren't. But you knew that.
Yes. Yes, I did.
Yes, you did. Well, anyway, we cracked this one. The point is, don't piss off Ronald McDonald. Don't do it.
Don't do it. And yeah, hit up the Gilbert, I guess. Or don't. I get creepy vibes from the Gilbert, I'm going to be honest.
If Gilbert is a name, it's weird to call yourself the Gilbert. If it's not a name, what's going on? What is
it's a title. It's a title that's passed down. It's a...
There must be a Gilbert. There must always be a Gilbert in downtown Civic Van Ness. And he must always be looking for Gregory Wyon.
Would you like me to read one of yours, or would you like another one of mine?
I would absolutely love for you to read one of my misconnections.
Okay, great. That was a really long amount of waiting. Okay. Intense eye contact. Whole Foods. The eye contact was so intense, I could feel it on me whenever I walked into another aisle. I love that you boldly talk to me about large, crunchy pickles, and yes, there is deep interest. You even shook my husband's hand, so that's always a great sign. A great sign of what, is my question.
Same question. In the context of COVID times also, when is shaking a stranger's hand and the Whole Foods a good thing? What's happening?
I actually had this discussion with a friend of mine the other day, and I was just talking about, how nervous we all are about the world opening up and, like, remembering how to be a person in public again. And I was just talking to her about how the last time I went to the grocery store, I made really awkwardly long eye contact with somebody because I couldn't remember if it was more appropriate to meet people's eyes or completely ignore them in the grocery store. And so instead of doing anything reasonable, I just panicked and held eyes with them for way too long. But it wasn't like a sexy love connection. It was like they got uncomfortable and wondered why I was staring at them.
Yikes. That is a nightmare. Now I'm going to be worried about that next time. Yeah, it is a weird thing. I find myself, if I am face to face with a person now, staring mostly just down at like my sides, like to my periphery. Because like when I'm looking at a screen, having a Zoom call, it's always oriented like down and to the left. So it's like that's where I'm looking now when I'm talking to a person, because that's what feels natural, and it feels like a lot of effort to meet eyes. And then also when you do meet someone's eyes nowadays, it's like it feels insanely rude, but also not like I'm trying to be polite, but it's really going against what I feel like I should be doing at the moment. Yeah. The other thing is like when someone drops something near me, I feel like an asshole, but I can't pick it up. and that's happened like a lot. Like I notice it more now because I notice every time I feel like an asshole. But yeah. But even today, just today, someone dropped like their glove right in front of me at the store, and I just walked by.
You probably shouldn't look at it and scoff. That's probably why they're mad at you, because you're looking at it and you're going,
Yeah, that's true. I probably could keep that quiet.
on the down low. But little do they know, it's just your immediate reaction. Yeah, well, I'm glad that you're also having problems being social with people. I feel like that's going to be such a thing. I don't know how to do it anymore, but it's fine. This person obviously has something about, they don't feel weird at all. In fact, they feel good that this person shook their husband's hand. They feel good about it.
It's okay. Like the only way this makes sense, honestly, is like, okay, are you a couple looking for a third?
I think so.
If that must be what's going on. Can we discuss that this happened over pickles? Like,
yeah, I was going to say you're definitely onto something, because we did not touch on the eroticism of large crunchy pickles, which to me are not erotic because I hate pickles, but to some maybe they are a phallic shape.
Could you think people who like pickles could truly find them erotic though?
What?
Like,
Talon, that is a dumb question. If there is a thing in the world, there is someone who finds it erotic.
yeah,
You should know that by now.
That's true. I just feel like pickles in particular are so just acidic and vinegary and not, I don't know, they're not an aphrodisiac to me, I guess. Some foods are inherently sexy, but
okay, well, you walked into that. What's a food you find inherently sexy? Go.
I don't know, a papaya. It's like it has a lot of the elements make sense for that to be sexy. I'm not
No, please.
To each their own.
Elaborate.
I think we all know. Everyone go get a papaya and cut that thing in half and tell me you aren't aroused.
All right. Okay. I just think the papaya guy doesn't have any room to spit on the pickle people, so...
I don't know. Okay, fine. I'm sorry, pickle people. I don't get it. I want to. Some pickles taste good. I would never think of them as erotic. Elena and I just watched an episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta, which we're finally getting on now. And one of the housewives, Phaedra, has a pregnancy photo shoot with a jar of pickles and a white tank top. And it's awful. It's the worst thing.
Not erotic is what I'm taking from that.
Not erotic. Trying really hard to make it erotic. Not erotic. Pickles? Hey, Elena.
Yeah, what's up?
Do you find pickles erotic?
No.
You like pickles also.
I love pickles.
All right, then.
Okay.
Although, they can be.
Wow!
Hey! There we
hold
go.
on. They can be erotic.
Yeah. I mean, we just watched The Real Housewives of Atlanta.
But I was just describing that. And I did not find it erotic at all.
I mean, but it turns erotic very quickly.
Okay. I think there's a difference between erotic and actually sexy.
Okay.
What?
Erotic as in invoking eroticism? Yes. Is it actually effective and something that becomes appealing at any point? To me, no.
No.
Then you would never find someone eating a pickle in a sexy manner. That just doesn't make it actually sexy.
No.
Okay. There we have it from our pickle expert and ravioli woman, Elena Afanasieff. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. All right. Fair enough. Fine. Fine.
If anyone disagrees, please let us know in our Instagram. I would love to hear from you. Anyone who could find a way to see a pickle as a sexy thing.
Don't tempt us. Great. Did you have anything else about this one?
I'm done.
Great. I've got another one for you to read.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Does it involve pickles?
No, shockingly. But it is in Portland, home of the Portland Pickles.
Hey! It's always a connection. A misconnection.
Please.
Okay. Just doing some advertising brainstorming. Okay. To the psychotic lady that tried to open my car door. WTF. I'm racking my brains. You had a fedora and were walking a corgi? You smirked at me like you were getting revenge. Did I cut you off? Is this karma? Or is the universe just chaos? What is going on? Let me make it abundantly clear that I do not like you. And if the door had opened, I promise you would not have liked it. Some sort of pink flower emoji.
I believe it's a cherry blossom. Yes, it's very nice.
Oh, you're right. This is a cherry blossom. It's just a little small.
Not coming from a condescending place, just elucidating that I believe it is a cherry blossom.
No, I fucking don't know my flowers. Okay, I get it.
I'm no goddamn botanist.
Wow, what a journey. Let's talk about it.
I mean, it is extremely. I had several people. I've had people get into the car. We've had this discussion already. We both had people get into our cars that we did not know, and that's violating. I've also had people try to get in the car that I did not know, and that was also violating. It's not a good feeling, so I can't say that I judge this person for writing this misconnection.
It almost makes me feel like, I've definitely been in that situation. Not fun, but mostly an awkward, like, oopsie-daisy. It almost feels like this person was, like, really trying to get in this locked car. like, excessively.
What are they going to do? They have a dog in one arm.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Walking a dog, and it's not even in their arm. They were walking it. The dog is on the street. You're in a fedora?
I feel like it's pretty hard to carjack someone when you're occupied with a whole dog.
Maybe you were trying to carjack him, but I don't know what you were trying to do. That's a mystery, I think. Like, she, looked at this person, made eye contact with them, knew it wasn't, or was someone, I don't know. At that point, you would know if it's, the wrong car or something, you know?
I feel that.
So, definitely, strange. A little stranger than, a person maybe accidentally mistaking you for an Uber driver or something.
An Uber driver, yeah. I do like it that they felt the need to say, let me make it abundantly clear that I do not like you. As though they thought this was some strange mating ritual.
This is flirting.
Violently trying to get into somebody's car.
Yeah. If that is how you flirt, you should not do that.
Maybe reconsider. Just a thought. Here's a thought. Yeah. Reconsider. I also, if the door had opened, I promise you would not have liked it. No specifics, just vague enough to be threatening.
But not legally admissible in court as a threat.
Exactly. Always be vague enough that it's, not a problem in court.
Yep, that's our motto here at Craigslistential Crisis.
If we were to give legal advice, which we're not doing, that's what we would say.
Craigslistential Crisis is not a legal professional podcast.
At some point, the way we will categorize this podcast is by all the things it is not.
Yeah, it'll be comedy, relationships, movies, legal advice.
Yes. I would say this is a relationship podcast.
I mean, if you started correctly, and it gets wilder the further you go on. Much like the misconnection section.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. You had a fedora. It's just a nice detail. It
is. You can't trust anyone in a fedora nowadays.
Nah, man.
And again, saying that as someone who wore them.
There were a lot of fedoras in Camp Rock 2, huh? Weren't there?
We did watch Camp Rock 2 this weekend.
My first time.
Talon's first time. Can you give me a 5-word review? The breathing doesn't count
More
as words.
like...
Sorry.
First 2 words. More like... Camp Suck 2. There you go. There's my 5-word review.
Harsh. I think my 5-word review would be marginally better than number 1.
Is it?
I think just because they fixed Demi Lovato's hair, yes.
Oh, sure. If we're just judging the sequel based on how much better the actors look, then yeah. You could say every sequel might be better than the original.
That's not true.
What's a sequel you have in mind where someone looks
All
worse?
right. I would say Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Bucky looks great with that long hair wig.
Oh my god.
And I won't stop talking about it.
Okay. Well,
So there's
to
your
be
example.
to be fair,
Hmm?
it's the direct sequel. He still has long hair. Which is Captain America Civil War. So,
Yeah, but
if you're
the
counting The
first
Falcon and
one-
Winter Soldier as the sequel, I think my point might still stand, and
Wait,
maybe we're
no,
both right.
No. I'm saying you said name a movie where the act. Oh wait, no, I see what you're saying.
Yes,
Damn.
name a sequel where the actors in it look worse than they do in the original.
Okay, fair enough.
But I see what you're saying, and I will agree the long hair look on Sebastian
good.
Stan is a good one. And,
It's a good one.
But to be fair, I don't know. I feel like he looks pretty good with the short hair too. I don't know.
All
I
right,
get it
wig hater.
character-wise why he would want to clean that up.
All right, wig hater.
I don't hate wigs. I don't know.
I don't hate wigs. How could you say that?
I don't hate wigs.
well,
It's
I
hard
hope
to
this-
do.
I hope this person is okay. And I hope this corgi lady doesn't try. I'm saying, if you see a lady walking a corgi wearing a fedora, lock your car doors. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this person it probably has nothing to do with you personally. I feel like, I don't know, it's someone just having fun with a car door. It's fine. You're probably fine. It doesn't really seem like they were doing anything malicious.
Just trying violently to get into a car.
Just freaking you out. I don't know. You ever walk by someone and they go boo at you? I feel like same thing.
I would be so mad when the R.I.P. the Bushman in San Francisco used to scare me. There's nothing like the irrational anger of being scared in public. It made me so angry.
I am unfamiliar with the Bushman. Is this a local, local legend?
He was very famous. He was a man, possibly houseless, but he would dress in like all green. It sounds ridiculous, like it wouldn't work, but he would like dress in dark green, and he had like fake leaves all over him. Like not very well done though, like not
Oh
like
my
a full
God.
thing. And then he literally just would have like two branches, like not even big branches, just two smallish branches in his hands, and he would crouch on the sidewalk. And you would pass him and just think he's a bush, even though his costume was not good. Like, if you took more than 3 seconds, you would notice he was a man and not a bush. And then he would just jump out and go, boo! And scare the living shit out of you. And he did it all day.
How many times did he scare you?
I mean, personally, he got me twice. But I didn't go to Pier 39 very often, because, like, why?
Wow, that's amazing, though.
It's not... You wouldn't have loved it if you'd been there seeing it. I was so irrationally angry. Like,
oh my god.
Once the fear recedes, all that's left in its place is anger.
Fair. It's yeah.
You think it's fun until you meet the Bushman yourself, and then you
You're right.
know.
I don't really have a strong desire to meet a Bushman in my life, but should I? I'll know that I brought it upon myself by suggesting that it might be fun.
Yes.
And
it
they
was 100%
probably
your fault.
listen to this podcast.
Well, the one that I know of is dead.
No,
unfortunately.
it would be a new one. There must always be a Bushman.
a Bushman, just like the Gilbert. There's always the
Just
Gilbert.
like the Gilbert.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want me to read your next one?
Yeah, go
Great.
for it.
Privata, New Year's. This is a legit post. Please don't flag. We met you and your BF at Privata on New Year's 2020. We texted a few times back and forth and scheduled a trip together that got canceled due to COVID. I got a new phone and your number didn't get brought over. I am not ignoring you, just lost your number.
Hoo boy. So,
Please.
I think this follows the trajectory of like just seeing how COVID has affected the misconnection landscape. I feel like this is kind of a new wrinkle. I'm wondering after this, because this isn't the first time I'm seeing like possibly like a connection that was made have like their togetherness get canceled by COVID. Like, you know, like this is interesting.
I will say, because I was curious, I Googled Club Privata right now.
Uh-oh.
And in case you are wondering, yes, it is an adult entertainment upscale swingers club.
Oh. And where is it and what's the overhead? Just for our listeners.
Unfortunately, it is open. And I'm not saying that because it's a swingers club. You do whatever you want. However, we are in a pandemic, and I just feel like a lifestyle that is built on swapping partners and juices with other people, maybe that place should not be open in the middle of a pandemic. That's all I'm saying. It can't be good for you. Like, you must not be having a good time. I know I'm not having a good time thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, even without the pandemic, it's just other things the CDC might caution against that you should look out for. So, seems just like high risk in general. You could get a cold. You could get a cold.
That's all we're saying.
I just want anyone to get a cold. Yeah, it's definitely, there's a couple of those places open. We've mentioned them or driven by them unsuspectingly. And, oh man. Yeah, we drove by the Velvet Rope the other day. That one's open too. It's open again.
It's open. And not to be a hater. Not to be a hater here. I'm also against established religion as well, but it seems a little unfair that churches aren't allowed to be open and yet private swingers clubs are. Not, again, I have no stake in this claim. It just doesn't seem very much like it makes sense to me. I don't think anyone should be open. I will also say, because I was curious, I'm clicking around the website, and they do have a dress code. The final damning line of the dress code is, men must remain fully clothed unless they are in the middle of a sex act.
Yep, there you go.
What a way to end your dress code.
Because, you see a lot of those places, and you might be like, it might not be a sex club. It might just be, there's some poles, so there's dancers.
So there's a pole or two.
So there's a pole. It's like a fitness thing now, right? It might not be a sex club, and that guy's, okay, yep. Yeah, we should go.
They say that hats and head coverings, with the exception of baseball caps, cowboy hats, and bandanas, are allowed. Religious and medically necessary head coverings are welcome. That's nice.
I mean, a little more progressive, I guess, than I would expect.
Well, but not really, though, right? Because,
but not.
Isn't it pretty?
Why not a bandana?
Isn't it pretty progressive to be at a sex club?
It is progressive to be in a sex club. It is. I am just surprised, Ben, by the dress code at all.
Yeah, that's fair enough. They're just trying to cultivate a mood,
Yeah, this ain't a trashy place. It's classy.
It's not trashy, it's classy. Also, nudity is allowed everywhere but the buffet area. However, men are only allowed to be nude when they're actively involved.
See,
I need to stop reading this, or this is going to turn into a podcast where I just read the entire website. This is just fascinating. I'm going to stop.
It is interesting because, there's some weird gender role shit here, first of all.
Yes. And there's don't be naked next to the buffet.
Which is a fine rule at any establishment, I say. Every buffet should have this rule in writing.
Golden Corral, we're looking at you.
Golden Corral. And I've also seen, I think I've read a Yelp review for the Velvet Rope where it talked about the prices, and it's like, women $10, men $100. I'm like, that seems...
It's to make up for that whole... Yeah, it's to make up for that whole 70 cents on the dollar thing. That's really what they're trying to get towards.
Sex clubs are the last true respite of feminism in America.
There we go. Girl boss.
There we go.
That's all I had to say. Anyways, I hope these people are able to reconnect once COVID's over, but not before. Yeah. Just once it is.
Not before. And if you
Unless
do reconnect, and if you hit it off, if you're be in a pod, just don't call yourself a throuple. I hate it.
You don't like the word throuple?
No, I do not.
I think it's a fun word.
I
couple,
also
with a thruh.
I think I'm just allergic to the whole idea of, honestly, only because, not for non-progressive issues, I just don't like the nickety names, because...
The nickety names!
I don't like the nicknames. I was like in a roommate situation I hated where I basically roomed with a friend who started dating another friend, and then I ended up like switching roommates the next year just because I don't know, things worked out that way. But anyway, I basically lived with a couple for like years. And it's the worst. And they always tried to like tell other people I was part of it, and I did not like it. like I don't like in a jokey way, like they had a different name for it that wasn't throuple, but it was just as bad. And
What is it?
I don't know. What was it? It was I don't even remember. I blocked the word out of my memory, but same vibe. And
what?
That's just how they would like talk about the three of us, and I hated it. So
Yeah, I mean, if it's against your will, yeah, that's not okay.
So look, if you want to be in a throuple and you want to call it a throuple, great. Just don't do it around me because I'll have a reaction.
All right.
And it's not your fault. It's nothing against you. It's just trauma that I'm living with.
Oh, is it? Do they call it a triad, a threesome, a trio,
No.
a menage a trois?
No.
Okay.
It was just
I was just trying.
I can never say the word because then I'll go back to that dark place. It's like it'll put me into sunken place right away.
Okay. We'll
So.
stop then. Anyways.
Anyway, you're gonna bring out my Grumbo if you're not too careful.
I don't want to call it Grumbo. I have another misconnection for you.
Okay, let me take a look. Moving company. What's a woman supposed to do when she sees someone like you move her items? What did I look like?
What's she supposed to do, Talon?
How did they move your items against your will, or?
No, it seems like it was a moving company. So it seems like it was
that way.
Yeah.
It seems that way, but I had to double check. What's a woman supposed to do? I'm assuming this fella was very attractive.
I don't know. It doesn't say.
I didn't even say fella. It says someone like you.
Yeah.
Someone like you.
Someone like you.
Someone like you. Also, what did I look like?
I
This
don't know.
is very vague.
Yes.
A lot of misconnections do this, where they're just put out like a detail and they say, describe me. But you have not made your intentions very clear at all. I mean, you could assume, but we shouldn't assume. And I don't know, this person moves a lot of items, I'm sure, if they work at a moving company, so they have no way to discern you from any of their other clients.
Just my items. I know. I love that they didn't even give what was being moved. They're just my items.
Yep, my items. They'll know. I'm in Tualatin. It's a small place. How many
full
people
of
do you think
items.
move in Tualatin?
There's so many items in Tualatin. We don't have to linger on that one a lot. I have several misconnections for you, so if you want to read another one in a row, I think you can.
Let's move on. Okay, you didn't have to fake it. Late night run. Was running around Contra Costa College on late night and ran into you by bus stops. You talked about how sexy I looked and that I had a fat booty for a guy. I smiled and we chatted for a minute. You told me all the things you could do to my booty, and then you smacked it. We lost contact. Would love to run into you again and let you grab this booty. In case you forgot, I can send you some pictures of this ass.
Booty.
They're very proud. They got one compliment, and now it's
They
their
ran with it.
favorite thing about them, which is the power of a compliment.
It is. Remember, don't compliment people's asses. I don't think that's a good way to start. Compliment people, though.
Compliment people. If you are going to compliment someone's ass, that just make sure that would be welcomed. You know, maybe start somewhere else first.
Start with, I'm looking respectfully, and an asset of yours has caught my eye.
That asset is out of containment.
It reminds me of some people might call it a dump truck. Speaking of dump
Mrs.
trucks.
Incredible, if you will.
Speaking of dump trucks, have we all seen that picture of Elliot Stabler from Law & Order SVU's butt?
No.
It's
Is
not
it?
nude. Don't worry, it's clothed. He's just
All right, I'm gonna
he's
look.
got a thick ass.
What do I search? Elliot Stabler.
Elliot Stabler,
ass. Is that
but
gonna do it?
yeah, it'll happen. He's got an amazing tush.
All right.
Truly phenomenal. Helped by the fact that he has to wear slacks on set.
I mean, slacks are, they can be deceptive. Not that they'll make a butt look more than it is, but I think they actually have more support as pants than you think they would.
Why can't you just accept
Twitter's
that Elliot Stabler has a thick ass? Why do you?
Twitter. I don't fight you. I'm just trying to look this up. I looked on Twitter, which is kind of drawing blanks, but there are tweets from. Here's one from. Well, the tweet is, "I'd eat Elliot Stabler butt," and it's from June 21st, 2017. So people have been on this apparently for a long time.
The ass train.
Okay. Oh, there you go. I've Googled it. You know what? It looks like 2 dodgeballs. It's pretty impressive. That was my first thought. I like that I also just took the time to have Google correct the spelling for me. Like, yes, this is what I meant to search. Thank you, Google. I spelled Elliot wrong. Okay. Wow.
I would not dodge those balls if they came at me.
Oh!
Let me say that. Let me say that much.
Let's say that.
Anyways.
Well, we have to assume this was written about Elliot Stabler then.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
The character
Contra Costa College.
Christopher
He was
Malone.
hanging out at CCC. For sure.
Yeah. That dude with that butt, also pretty funny. Like, you should be in more comedy things. Just saying. As far as Christopher Maloney goes. He's really great. I've enjoyed him in this is not a movie podcast, but if you haven't seen it, I recommend you watch They Came Together. Elena and I just had a little Paul Rudd mini movie marathon on Paul Rudd's birthday. That was one of our choices, and it was a great selection, but also a great time for Christopher Maloney to shine. Also Scrubs does some good work on there. Anyway, I am pro this man getting more work in comedy, and if that means other people get to see his butt, I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I'll go ahead and read another one of yours. Let me just
do it.
Tippity tap.
Tippity-tap.
Buddy. Mature guy looking for a card playing friend with an imagination. I mean, aren't we all?
Aren't we all? That's why I chose this one, because this guy really put in the words what I think we all want in a friendship. Is someone to play cards with who has a great imagination.
The human connection, if you will.
Yes. The rainbow connection, and some might call it.
Some might. Yeah, I'd like a card playing friend with an imagination.
Yeah. think of all the things you could use that imagination for. If you have cards and imagination, you don't just have... You have Uno if you really try. You could make Battleship happen, I'm sure. Maybe a Guess Who, but you're guessing, like, numbers. See?
Whoa.
Maybe I'm the guy. Maybe I'm the buddy for this.
Maybe you're the guy with cards and imagination. You should respond to this. They're probably just looking for card games.
I understand. I just bought myself a new deck of cards, and that's how I feel. Like, I should post this exact misconnection. Like, I got some new cards, and I'm looking for a card-playing buddy with an imagination.
You'll probably get lots of good quality responses.
I do feel like at some point, this podcast does need to turn into one of us putting out a misconnection every week and just seeing what responses we might get.
All right, we might have to go fishing. We might
have to.
I just don't like deceiving. I don't like it, Tullen. I'm not a born liar.
It won't be deceptive if we then tell them, congratulations, you have been selected, and your writing will be featured on an upcoming episode of a hit podcast.
Reward.
We'll just tell them it's the Joe Rogan show, and then they'll
No. For that, you must move on to the next misconnection.
I accept the punishment. Woodacre. Live music 411. Beautiful dark-skinned mother in black leather jacket with the little one with curly locks. You smiled as I passed. I looked back, and you smiled again. I watched the band play, and when I finally decided to say hello, whoosh, you were gone. You've inspired this little attempt at a poem. Yes, it's juvenile. Yes, it's plagiarized. I am a builder. Build houses and cars. Can you look past my gray? Can you look past my scars? My hands, they are calloused and tempered like steel. But my heart is still soft. It wants love that is real. Your bewitching beauty, it haunts me to this day. Is there room on your broom? Can you fly me away? What a beautiful couple, the bystanders said. How did they meet as their jealousy spread? We'll fly through the night on your broom or my ride, turning heads on the roads or up to the sky. Hope this makes you smile, at the very least. You inspired it so. It's as much yours as mine. Whoa. Regular Dr. Seuss this one, huh?
Regular Bill Shakespeare over here.
Right, yeah, a regular J.K. Rowling over here.
A turf? Interesting.
Interesting.
Interesting. How much of this do you think was plagiarized? Because it's not very good.
That is the question, right? Like, is there an amount? What is the amount of this that would have to already exist before we doubt this person's abilities as a poet? If it's, why even? I don't even understand what you mean. It's plagiarized, but it's my attempt at a poem. That's not how poems work. You took a poem and just changed some of the words like a Mad Lib, and you're like, I did this for you.
To each their own.
I am a bit. Is this? I mean, what poem is this? It reads like a Bruce Springsteen song. I don't know, like.
Okay. You don't need to be rude to the boss like that. Okay.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying the subject matter feels.
Okay, fair enough.
Not in quality, but in content.
Fair enough. I do love that he just calls her a witch, which is kind of rude. I don't know that I would like that.
That's another detail. He just at some point reveals that she rides a broom, and it's just like, what? Is this inspired by something you saw? Did they have a broom with them? What about them red witch? What?
I don't know.
Is that just part of the poem and you just didn't take it out? Is this a poem about a witch? That you just changed to include the fact that you build houses? I don't know. I need to Google something to figure out where the original poem is, but I don't know what to Google. What line of this feels the most Googleable, like it would turn something up?
I really don't know. I think maybe the beginning, I'm a builder, build houses and cars. That feels like maybe it would be a line in a real song. But then it gets worse. I don't know. Isn't that the mystery? We might never know who plagiarized it. Maybe it's a train song? I don't know. Gives me train vibes.
I could see train. Well, that first line did nothing.
Maybe it's best that we never know.
Wow. It's like
maybe it'll keep the fire alive.
You're right. I think it's better if we just think, it's Schrodinger's poem. It could all be plagiarized. It could all be original. We'll never know which parts are and which parts aren't. Because we're never going to be able to open that box.
It's fully both until we open the box.
Fully both. And whichever reality is better to you, guess what? You can choose to live in that reality and it will be correct. So we presented you with two branches down a path that are they're basically the same branch. Not much changes depending on which answer you pick, but that is a gift to you. Feel comfort in that. You get to choose which answer you want.
Choose your own adventure.
Choose your own adventure. Nothing changes. It's a choose your own adventure book where the page just tells you to go to the next fucking page.
Yeah, it's just a book.
True. It's just a book with little parts where it makes you think you have a choice, but you don't.
That's life. That's capitalism for you. Anyways,
That's capitalism.
So for this next one, I'm gonna have you read because I have two more, and I know you picked the last one. So we'll do through mine in a row. I do have a couple things to say about this next one. So for this next one, there's a phone number in it. I wouldn't recommend reading it out loud.
You got it.
There are also colors in it. You don't need to read the colors. You'll see what I mean. There's like colors. It's also it's like the next two pictures. So you're gonna have to, and you might want to take a swig of tea or something.
Oh, wow.
It's gonna be a thing.
Okay. I'm just gotta complete my vocal warm-ups. Here we go.
I mainly just picked this one because I wanted you to have to read it.
Well, that's fair. I do a lot of that for you, and it feels like about high time you've gotten me back. Tomato starts. Las Tomatoes looking for homes. Organic tomato starts $4 each. To order, text this number. Aussie, Big Beef, Galahad, Mountain Fresh, Costoluto Genovese, German Johnson, Giant Buffalo Heart, Accordion Pink, Nicho Lavenda, okay, Nicho Lavenda.
Keep going.
Let me try that again. Nicho Lavevna, Pink. Azoichka. Amana Orange. Candy's Old Yellow. Gold Medal Yellow. Golden Buddha. Lemony. Green Kaleidoscope. Ananias Nor. Black from Tula. Japanese Black. Trifle. Trefele? Trefele. Big... Big Rainbow. Blue Beauty. Hawaiian Pineapple. Red Striped. German Striped Stuffer. Lava Flow. Homegrown Roma. San Marzano. Chocolate Striped Icicle. Fuego Rosa. Stripped Roman. Sun Gold. Yellow Pear. Yellow Cherry. Thai Pink Egg. Dwarf Katydid. Dwarf Chocolate Lightning. Dwarf Lemon Ice. Dwarf Shadow Box.
It's just a long list.
This is a
Of
misconnection.
tomato types. It's not. It's not a misconnection. I don't know why they're trying to sell their heirloom tomatoes for $4 a tomato.
I wish they had heirloom tomatoes. It's the one tomato they just don't seem to have.
Well, no, I think heirloom tomatoes, that's like a type of tomato.
Oh, you're saying
a category of tomato.
These are all heirloom
These
tomatoes.
are all, yeah.
Okay, well, why don't they just say that?
And then the other thing, we don't have to talk about this for long. I just wanted you to tag yourself, which tomato are you?
Oh, that's
because
fair.
I would say that I'm Big Beef.
That's
Or I'm
That's
German
good.
striped stuffer. Either or.
Oh gosh. Well, there's a lot of good options. I'd like to think though that I'm Dwarf Chocolate Lightning. What is that tomato type?
I don't know.
When did chocolate get involved in the naming process, and why? Do we not think that would be deliberately confusing unless it tastes and or looks like chocolate? And then where does the lightning part come in?
Unless it looks and or tastes like lightning. I also think that tomatoes and chocolate may be one of the most heinous combinations I could possibly think of right now.
Yeah, no, I'm normally someone who's into, I'll try anything once, and some flavor combinations, they don't work until you think about it, and then you're like, yeah, actually, this makes perfect sense. Peanut butter can go in a burger, and it works fine.
Sure.
Yeah. But chocolate and tomato, if you presented me with, I'm trying to think, is there any variation of the two ingredients together that could, no,
I don't think so.
I can't see where, even though tomatoes technically are fruit, it's just, what you're going to do is the natural sweetness in the tomato, you have ruined it by putting chocolate on the same palate, and now the tomato will taste, I'm going to have to try this combination.
Please let us know how it goes.
I'm thinking first live in-person show, I'm whipping out a tomato, I'm grabbing some chocolate, we'll see what happens. Okay?
All right.
That is my promise.
Sounds good.
It just wouldn't be good podcast. But
in that case, I think the second misconnection might apply to you. This is going to be you after that show. So go ahead and read that one.
Here we go. Guy with rip in his pants. We live in the same building. Saw you going into the laundry room today. You have a hole in the back of your pants. Oh.
I just think it might make you blow a hole in your pants.
It might make me blow a hole in my pants. But you know what? If eating knockoff Panda Express for like 3 years straight at PSU didn't do that, then I'll be fine.
He's got a gut of steel, everybody.
Yes, I do. Can digest anything. This is, I mean, if you rip your pants and you read about it on a misconnection, I think the very least you hope maybe it's a cute flirtation that might lead to like a date or something. This is just a person. They just want to let you know what you already must know by this point. Is that you have a big hole in your pants. And someone, now you have confirmation, someone saw you and is not interested.
I would be very mad at that person for just not telling me in the moment. I'd just be mad at that.
If they're going to tell you one way or another, you'd prefer it just happen in the moment. You could, like, laugh about it. But now it's this awkward thing that, like, if I'm the guy with the hole in my pants, then I have to go, I'm going to lose sleep over that. I'm going to think, I had a hole in my pants, and someone was actively viewing it. And I don't know what they saw. I don't know what the underwear situation was from their angle. I am ashamed. and on top of that, it doesn't even get to be a fun story anymore. It's just embarrassing and someone else caught me.
Oh my god. Well, with that, a scathing review of this misconnection, I think it's the end of the show. We've got one last misconnection for you at the end, so stick around for that. And we have two announcements for you. One announcement is that we will be next week releasing a special 420 episode. At this point, it's pretty much tradition. We can't stray away from it. So keep your ears out for a special 420 episode that will actually probably, I don't know. Are we going to release it on the 22nd or the 20th?
Well, I think we'll release it on the 20th. That's what we did last year. Last year specifically, we released it at 4:20 a.m. on 420.
That's for all of you real. Oh, sorry.
We just wanted it to be available for you when you wake up, so you can start your day in whichever way you desire.
Waking and bacon.
With existential crisis
and peanut butter on your burger. Go ahead and get ready for that 420 episode. It's always a real hoot. It'll also be the first episode that we recorded in person together in a long time. We're in the same pod, don't worry. So that will be A-okay. The second announcement I have is we are going to be having a live show on Friday, April 30th at 7:30 p.m. Check it out on twitch.tv/kickstandcomedy. We do those monthly on the last Friday of the month. So definitely go ahead and check that out. They're super fun. They're great to see you all in the comments interacting. And we have a great time doing it. And the show is a little bit different than our recorded shows. So if you are only listening to our recording shows, you're kind of only getting half of who we are as people and podcasters. We'd like to think... Oh, yeah.
I will just mention, I think some of those old live shows, if you haven't gotten around watching them, I think they are still available on the Kickstand Comedy Twitch page. So twitch.tv/kickstandcomedy. Check out what you've been missing.
Yeah, because it's a lot. We'd like to thank Hey Shermie for our theme song. We'd like to thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard, leave a 5-star review. It really helps us out. And write a review, too. Those are extra helpful. And Talon has said that if you leave us a 5-star review and write in that review, he will read whatever you want him to live on the podcast.
Yep, it's true. And I don't know if that people have realized exactly the opportunity they have. Like, yes, say nice things about our podcast. We love that. But maybe what you want to say has been said. You could also include a funny little thing for me to say about my opinions on things. You could make me do character voices if you want. I'll do it. Whatever. Hey, what would be something ridiculous to make me say? You know? What would be the wildest thing I could say? I bet you got an idea, don't you? Why don't you put that in a 5-star review in the Apple Podcast app under the podcast page, Existential Crisis. And guess what?
What?
I'll say it. That's interactivity, baby.
Hey. including interactivity. You can always send us misconnections you found or stories about you having interacted with this connection section. We love to hear from you. You can send those to us at our email, which is craigcrypod@gmail.com. That's CRAIGCRIPod@gmail.com. You can also send them to us on any of our social medias. We're Craig's Crisis on Instagram. Go ahead and DM us. We're on Facebook as Craig's Crisis. We're on Twitter as Craig's Crisis. Check us out those places and send us any sort of misconnection opportunities or experiences you've had.
We're also on YouTube. I don't know if anyone knows that, but we're on YouTube. If that's how you like to listen to podcasts, we're there too. Maybe not you, but your dad. Maybe your dad.
But yeah, that's all the news that's fit to print this week. Stay tuned for that 420 episode, and definitely tune into the live show on 4:30. It's on April 30th at 7:30. That was good.
You nailed it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. This final misconnection was not found by me originally, but actually our very own ravioli woman, pickle expert, Elena Afanasiev. And yeah, I think she did good. I think she did good work. All right.
Looking for a woman to hang out with. Looking for a woman to hang out with.
I'm Talon Bigelow.
And I'm Sarah Thompson.
This has been Craig's Crisis.
Again, aren't we all?
Aren't we all?
For a woman to hang